Okay, I will be talking about performance and succession in this room. And that is me. I have been doing this since 2000 when I left the army after 23 years. So I've been around for a while and I have tried some different things, both with and without SuccessFactors. As Eric mentioned earlier, most of what is actually done here. Let's see if that one can work. Can you still hear me out there? Okay. A lot of the stuff that is in this release for performance and goals and the talent management is results of customer influence. It's actually things that customers said that we need this in SuccessFactors, and then it was built. It takes some time, but we get there. So I will talk about what is actually in this release. Most important topics. I will start with latest goal management. Some of you that sit here are still using the legacy goal management due to the fact that things like cascading goals, milestones, was not available. The latest goal management in its current form is now generally available to all the clients, and you can benefit from the major functionality that was also part of the legacy goal management. And this is the version of goal management that SAP is planning everything that is new to be related to. So if you are still using legacy goal management, you should, as soon as possible, upgrade to the latest version in order to get the full benefit of all the new stuff that is coming in the talent modules. One of the first things that is actually really making a difference is that in the legacy version, you had the opportunity to upload a goal library to the system that was also translated in all the languages you had in the system, and you couldn't do that in the latest goal management. This feature is now supported. Of course, it requires some changes to the XML, all the stuff that is behind the goal plan. That means that you will probably need assistance from an implementation partner, which is us. So this is one of the new functionality in the latest goal management that has been asked for by clients since the first version was out. You can, according to SAP, also do this when this release is launched from your mobile app. Meaning that if you're using mobile with SuccessFactors and the modules are enabled and you have the correct permissions, that means that you can do the same thing in the mobile app. So you can also use Go libraries in the mobile app on iOS and Android. And of course, the same thing, it is only if you have the latest goal management enabled. So you have to upgrade to get the benefit of this one with the new goal plan. You can also now manage team goals from the mobile app, just as you can in the system. So you also now have the options that was not there in legacy system, where you can cascade goals from a manager, and a manager can maintain and assign team goals. And the manager can also do this from the mobile app. And of course, when you're sitting out there, if you have a question, then just post it so that you can ask the question later. And of course, this I put this in here of course, you can only do this with the team goal in the mobile app if you are using team goals in the latest goal management. Milestones, or as they are called earlier also sub-goals, was also one of the features that were not available in the legacy system, but only available in the legacy system. But it was not available in the latest goal management, and that was one of the causes where a lot of our customers, they were hesitant in upgrading to latest goal management because they were using milestones. That is also now available in the latest goal management. And it will require that the read-write permissions are changed in the XML of the goal plan. This also means that you will need to reach out to us. And we recommend that you, if you used milestones in the legacy version, that you upgrade to this and test it. And if you are not using milestones currently, you should also test it so you can actually see if this is something that can benefit your organization. And of course, when it's enabled in the system, it will also be available in the mobile app. So you can also manage milestones, create new milestones, update milestones, also for team goals from the mobile app. And this is one of the things that were also requested, because the first users of the latest goal management, they discovered that before they had an audit trail, so they could actually see when a goal was changed and by whom. This is also now available in the latest goal management. There are some limitations. First of all, you need to have read access to the fields that are updated on the goal plan. Otherwise, you will not be able to see them in the audit trail. And there's still some limitations. For instance, the milestones and comments, if you're using the comment option on the goal plan, they will not be part of the audit trail, as will the activities that are linked to the goals that you can see on the goal plan. If you change that, that is not available in the audit trail. And that was the end of the new features for the goal plan. So I don't know if there are any questions on that one. Otherwise, we will just carry on. This is actually an important announcement, because I know that some of our customers, they are still using the legacy continuous performance in their SuccessFactors environment. And that is coming to an end. The development was stopped last year at this time, and it will be deleted from the instances in May 24, meaning that at that point in time, if you are using the legacy continuous performance, it will be automatically upgraded to the latest version of continuous performance, which will have a completely different user interface. So it will be a change. If you do not do it beforehand and communicate about it, then it will be a sudden experience. And also because there are some features that is related to all the other parts of the system that will suddenly be available. And that will happen in May next year. So some of the new features is actually also in the continuous performance. So if you had feedback as an administrator, you could decide from the configuration that you would not show feedback to the new manager if you had a manager change. The way it's done now is that you can enable this feature, and then the employee will get the option to actually decide whether or not the feedback that was given by the old manager should be available for the new manager. That is based on permissions. So you get more control on the data that is actually included in data privacy. And that is possible with the new configuration. But, as it says at the bottom, the last sentence, this is only available on environments where you have Employee Central, because that is connected to the business rule that when you change the position with a higher level position for the manager, then it should trigger this in continuous performance. So it's only on EC environments. Then there are some new features for the UI, so to speak. So when you have permissions to delete goals or edit goals, now in the continuous performance, when you go to activities and view by performance goals, then this screen shows an option where for instance, the employee can edit goals, but only the manager can delete them. Then the employee will only see the mark for editing. The manager, in this case, if a manager has both edit and delete, they will see 3 small dots. If you only had access to delete the goal, you would only see the trash can as the icon. It's just changes to the user interface, and the whole UI of this release is connected to something called Horizon, which is a new way of showing the user interface. So there are some changes, and you can already see them in your preview environments. And you should decide whether or not you want to use this. But you will lose some of the new UI functionality if you go to a different theme. Also, the UI has changed here. So when you go into activities, you can see here that the button has changed. So edit is kind of not so highlighted, whereas delete is highlighted with a different color. So that is just the UI that has changed. And of course you can use, if you have administration over your Microsoft 365 installation, then you can integrate with SAP Teams. That means that where you have your teams today, where you have different folders, so to speak, in Teams, then you will have an SAP team folder as well. And then you can give and request feedback directly from Teams. It's kind of a further development because last year there was an integration to Outlook where you can give the feedback from Outlook. Now you can actually integrate this to your Microsoft Teams. Then this one is a nice new feature. Before, when you had these documents that were not transferred during manager transfer, then you had to go into the system, go to the check tool, find the forms that were not fixed, and then manually fix them one by one. There's now a new option under Performance Manager feature settings where you can actually turn this on to run automatically. That means that you will allow the system to fix these cases where the form is not routing as it should. Of course, there can still be exceptions where it will not happen, and then you will still have to do it manually. But this will take care of most of the standard issues with routing forms. Then to calibration. SAP is, in this release, launching new options for filtering when you are filtering people in a calibration session. One of them that discussed, you remember when you are in the calibration, then you can actually mark the employees as discussed or not. That will be automatically added to the filters. Then there are 5 new filters. Country, new to position, future leader, key position, and matrix managed. Those of you who are using some of these fields in the employee profile know that it's standard elements that can be used, and you can manually fill them in, or you can have an integration that will fill some data into those. Just remember that the key position here, a new to position, is not related to the position object directly. That is a standard element that you can enter information in, and then you will have it available as a filter. And of course, that is something that could give a better experience when you are using calibration. Also, if you are using calculated overall rating, form rating in your performance forms, and you allow manual rating, and you also have this manual rating in the calibration, then in the list view in calibration, you will be presented with both the calculated rated that was done in the summary section based on competency goal settings ratings, where it's a calculated rating based on weights. Then you have that next to the manual overall rating. Just remember that if you have both, you have the manual rating, and that is should always be mandatory, then that is the rating that will be written to the system. And this one, that has been so annoying for all our clients for a long time. If you change the rating of a performance form in a calibration session and you send the mail to the manager, then depending on the label in the rating scale or even the name of the employee, it was not aligned in any way. So it was just a lot of things. You couldn't see the columns. You couldn't see where the rating was and where the name stopped. So SAP have actually listened this time and created an email template that looks like it should. So this is a huge improvement from the previous standard email for ratings changes in a calibration session. And again here it says for better user experience, and it is. I hope, Kim, that you will say if there are questions so far.
Yes, I do have a couple questions. I just didn't want to interrupt you. I thought we were saving them for the end.
Okay, we can save them then. Okay.
Okay.
There are only a few slides left for this one before I could move to succession. So again, the user experience on the form, there are actually a few of those. When you in the new UI, so to speak, if you are on a goal plan and you create a new goal from the performance form, you will now get this little toast confirmation. So it will actually, you have seen so far that you see these small confirmations all over the place. When you save something, it says you saved it. And now you will also get these toast messages when you make changes to, for instance, a goal section or a competency section. Then you will get these toast messages. And also for the UI that has been changed, this is also something that has been requested. If you, for instance, go to a goal section, on the goal section, you will now see the goal name in bold, and you will see the category below, also in bold, but in smaller font. And now the goal details is the first tab you see in a goal section. Previously, it was the achievements, so you actually had to go and click to see the goal details. Now the goal details is the default. It skipped the anchor because that's also a new feature. So if you scroll down to a form, some of you have forms that are very long. So if you scroll down to a competency section and you make changes in the competency section, it will actually stay there now. So it's not like before when you make a change and you click save, then it will go to the top again. Now it will anchor where you're actually working. And that's nice. So for the roadmap for performance and goal, the talent module here, Eric mentioned it shortly. The Talent Intelligence Hub is just a completely new organization restructure of the Center of Capability, which means that in time there will be attributes instead of before it was all competencies in the competency library. Now you can have an attribute where you can change, so you can have competencies, you can have skills, you can have experience. But that is something that is under development, so I will not go into details about it. But it is a repository that makes it more flexible for the use for other things like the growth portfolio, where you will now be able to, in the future, you will be able to add a skill to an employee and rate it in the growth portfolio without using a performance form. That's the future. So you don't have to, you can actually evaluate people on experience or skills that is not necessarily something that is in their performance form, but it's like the employee information about themselves. And that leads me to just briefly mentioning Opportunity Marketplace, which is a whole new module in itself that just came out of early adopter and is now more generally available. But as I said, it's a whole new module, so it requires a whole new configuration of your system. And we are looking into this, so if this seems like something that is interesting for you, then please reach out. And then the roadmap, you can see here on the roadmap, I will not go into all the details about it, but a lot of the new development going forward to the next release and the release in 2024 is actually based on developing new features for the Talent Intelligence Hub, the growth portfolio, and the connection to Opportunity Marketplace. So this whole self module that SAP have been talking about the last year. So that is what is coming. And it means that in order for you to be part of this journey, you have to upgrade to the latest version of goal management and also to the Talent Intelligence Hub in time to be able to be part of this journey. And now, Kim, because now I will move to succession.
Okay, there's a question here from, and first I'm going to apologize if I mispronounce anyone's name. Oh, sorry. Pia, they ask that they're not sure if this is too broad of a question, but they've been following the latest goal management releases for the past years, and now finally seems like it could be a relevant option with the new release. But when looking into it, a reduced scope of 200 goals is mentioned per goal plan. A goal plan contains no more than 200 goals. That is a maximum sum of 200 personal goals and assigned team goals, or a total of 200 team goals is allowed for each goal plan. Does that mean globally we can only have 200 goals, as we would have much more goals, 4 to 5 per employee with 20,000 employees? Does that make sense?
I think it makes sense, but I mean, one employee having 200 goals to live up to in a year, I think that sounds, I think the limitation has been made, but that is something, of course, that we should investigate, because if it's 200 goals per employee in a year, I wouldn't want to be that employee, I have to say. So, of course, that is something we have to investigate.
So it's per employee, not necessarily just an overt. So an employee can have 200 goals in one goal plan.
Yeah, that's what I think it means. But of course, that is something, because there are limitations to how many lines you can have in code or something. But 200 goals in a goal plan, that's a little wild. So, and I mean, since a goal plan is just a container, then I don't think that you can only connect 200 goals to a goal plan across an organization with 25,000 employees. In itself, it sounds like it's per employee.
All right, they're saying they're talking about having more than 200 goals in total in the group. It is not clear in the statement that it is per employee or in total.
Okay, then we will have to get back to that one, because I would, yeah, I would need SAP to confirm that.
Okay, well, we'll have their information and
Yeah.
We'll get that back to them. Okay, so just one other quick question here from Elka. Are goal libraries in the latest goal management still imported using the same clunky CSV import functionality that is used in the legacy goal management?
That is correct. It is the same. It is the same procedure. You go to Go Libraries and you have the option of uploading new libraries from a CSV file. It's still the same thing. Yes.
Okay. All right. That seems to be all the questions I have so far.
Okay. So quickly we go to succession and development. I see I'm a little short of time here. In mentoring, in the old version, you had to go into mentoring to configure the email notifications that were sent. SAP have implemented a lot of new email notifications for mentoring. So when you request a mentor, when you approve a mentor and so forth, just remember that all these, when you get the new release, are turned on by default. Meaning that if you're not going to use them, then you have to physically go into the system and uncheck them. But we recommend that you have a look at these email notifications and go into the administration interface to see if the text in the email notification makes sense. And it's also here you do the translations of these email notifications. But before they were very limited and you had to configure it in the mentoring program. And of course, in accordance to all the other modules, that the user kind of UI is the same. So now when a mentee asks for a mentor, then the mentor can approve that mentee, that relationship, directly from the homepage. Just like if you have a mentoring program that requires manager approval when you sign up as a mentor, that is also defaulted now in For You Today in the homepage. And the same goes for the mobile version. Now in the career worksheet in report story, there's a limitation. So you can actually go into this career worksheet and see only by target population, which was not the case before. Yes, and if you are using career worksheet and you enable this option where you can make it public in live profile in the background element preferred next move, then you will have the link shown here that will show up when you enable it. So you can actually, as an employee, say that I want it to be public that I'm looking at this job opportunity. And because we talked about the size of files, before when you export it, if you made a talent search with a lot of parameters in it, you could configure a lot of extra data elements. There was a limitation of 250 columns. Now the limitation is up to 16,384 columns if you have that many data elements on all your employees. So it's kind of hard to reach the maximum, but 256 was not enough. And they have added this view my current role in the career worksheet to the search options in action for people and search for action and people, so that you can go directly into that one. Before you had to go into development, go into career worksheet, and click on my current role. Now it's available directly from the action search. And this is also related to the mentoring program. So before you only had 10 available mentors, and then you had to open a new window. Now you can see all up to 100 recommended mentors. I do not think we have any customers with that many, but of course. And that is what I mentioned with the request in the approvals that you have on the new homepage. You also have that in the mobile app. And this is also some of the things that you should consider upgrading to the latest version, because everything, all new development is based on that relation to the latest version of the new homepage and of the programs inside the modules. And yeah, this is here where you can see all the stuff you normally would see in the homepage. You can also see that now in in the mobile app. And you can, of course, this is one of the features that came in the latest release on the latest goal management. That is now also available in the mobile app, so you can copy a goal also on your development goal plan, the same as you can on the business goal plan from the mobile app. And you can leave comments. If you use thread feedback on the goals, you can also do that in the mobile app. And the roadmap for succession, that is also, again, related to phase 2 of Talent Intelligence Hub. So again, explore, go in there and see what you can find of information, and reach out to us if you are interested in beginning to try some of these new features. And that was it. Do you have any questions, Kim? We have 1 minute, I'm told.
No, actually, I don't see any questions that have come through on this end. I don't know if you have any in the room.
Anyone in the room? Yeah?
Related to the, sorry, I'll Related to the Teams integration for continuous performance or continuous feedback. Does it require the Office 360 integration?
Yeah,
isn't that only supported on selected data centers?
It might be.
Right.
So that is one of the things where you have to reach out to us to explore if it's possible, because it is a two-way part. Partly access to tech work in SuccessFactors and to 365 administration in Microsoft. So it's kind of a little out of our league.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Lars Ole. Now it's time for a short break, 15 minutes. So please join me in the kitchen for some sweets and coffee. Here.
Hello.
With People Analytics, I'm really excited about all the capabilities we have. Now, back in the old days, which is in fact just a few years ago, companies would implement SuccessFactors. They might implement performance management or recruiting management. They would solve tactical issues. Now today, when you've implemented SuccessFactors, you have many modules. You have Employee Central, you have recruiting, you have talent management, performance management, you might have succession, you might have learning. And with People Analytics, we're able to correlate data points from these vast amount of data that you're collecting in your system. So for example, within recruiting, that's one of my favorites, you can identify whether you have a gender bias in your recruiting process. So are we getting equal amount of men and women for different types of jobs? And when we then hire the best suited candidate, you can see, okay, we might have had a 50-50 split in our talent pool and our recruiting pool, where we actually had a bias in certain job families when we ended up hiring. And then in Employee Central, we're capturing promotions, demotions, job changes. And that actually allows us to see if we have any bias in our promotion policies in the company. With performance management, we can see who's the highest performing, what's the average performance rating, also by different demographics. So with People Analytics, I'm super excited with all the capabilities we have to compare and actually identify where in the organization is it that we might have some problems that we need to take action on. Document management is really an interesting topic. Quite often our customers might get surprised when we tell them there is no document management system in SuccessFactors. There is no module for creating documents. Yes, we have lightweight document generation as Employee Central. In compensation management, we have the salary letter. In recruiting, we can create a job offer. But really, there is no central repository for document storage. So that's why SAP has decided a long time ago to adopt a partner strategy. And that's also something GP Strategies fully embraces. We have been through a selection of some document management vendors that are well integrated into the SuccessFactors suite. We've been through that decision already. We have the experience from working with these partners for many years. So digital transformation for me is really taking the word seriously, transforming, and using digital tools as the enabler that helps you to build a better process. So often we come across companies who might have built a swim lane diagram, a process diagram, and we ask, where does this come from? If they say, well, this was built by the HR community because they built the HR processes, or they say, well, we mapped down the processes of our existing system, our existing processes. I'm always cautious of using that, because really that doesn't allow you to reap the full benefits of the new system, the way the system was designed to work in an optimal manner. So digital transformation is about seeing IT as an enabler, using the system for your business processes the best way, the way that it was designed, and to listen to the advice from your GP Strategies specialist who has seen it all before.
So what does great look like? For me, it's about experience, it's about quality, it's about expertise.
I very much agree, Finn. It is the experience we bring to the table. Our 20+ experience with SAP SuccessFactors truly sets us apart. We are among the first partners globally, and also our unique team that works across countries. And we are more than 150 consultants today, and all of them bring many professional certifications to the table that bring that unique experience that everybody's looking for.
Yeah, and then if we take all the implementations into perspective, we have done almost 1,000 implementations of SuccessFactors with clients up to 500,000 employees, rollouts to 100 countries, lots of complexity. So the expertise, the insights, and the experience from these projects is important.
Exactly, those challenges we've met over the years, that experience we build up with our customers, together with our customers, and build really great solutions out there is also what we bring to the table for new customers and our existing customers. We've embedded our experience into our base model approach to help you accelerate into their implementations and have a robust, strong solution from the start, but also accelerate the implementation as well. So I truly believe that our experience together with our customers is what sets us apart as well.
Yeah, and that is why we deliver true excellence to our clients.
I agree. Hey everyone, my name is Christian Holst. I'm from GP Strategies. I've been with GP for the last 7 years. I'm heading up our consulting service practice, and here's a tip for you how to handle the release materials. Always go to the community site for insights on when the release materials are here, the dates of the release, when they're available on the preview or the production instance, and all the great videos produced by SAP. You also have the ability to ask questions, get more insights to every single little detail of the release. So use what is available for you, be active on the community and ask your questions, you will get answers. Hey everyone, my name is Christian Holst. I'm from GP Strategies. I've been here 7 years. I'm heading up our consulting service practice. Here's a tip for for you to handle the release this time around. And the tip is that you should always follow the SAP roadmap viewer, where you can plan the entire release material. You can look for the opt-in, the opt-out, and the universal one. That's a key feature for you to have an overview of all the fantastic things that are coming for this release and also future releases. So keep up to date, know what's hitting you, and be ready for it.
Today I'd like to share with you top tips for managing change in your SAP SuccessFactors implementation. The first tip I'd like to share is know why you're doing this. So connect your business case to wider business outcomes. Challenge yourself to go beyond standardization, compliance, and efficiency, and include people-related benefits such as engagement, autonomy, employee experience. This not only creates endorsement and alignment at the senior levels, which you absolutely need, but will also bring greater clarity to the rest of the organization. The next tip I'd like to share is know what success looks like for you. Agree, align, and identify those measurements of success. So for example, if it's engagement, identify what exactly around engagement are you going to measure. Is it engagement through user experience? Is it engagement through ease of use? Is it engagement through speed of adoption? Be clear on what those are and identify that, agree on it, and monitor it through the implementation roadmap and definitely after. The next tip is to personalize your change impacts. Recognize that the same change will affect people in your organization differently. A very simple categorization could be line managers, leaders, and employees. So that's why it's really important to answer the question, what's in it for me? For a manager, it could mean greater self-service and greater autonomy. For an employee, it could be further standardization and consistency in process. So make sure that you recognize the differences on the impacts. Furthermore, use your role-based permissions with the system to qualify that impact and then tailor your change intervention to meet the needs of these different user groups. The next tip is to design comprehensive change interventions. So while we would use communication and training, which are our go-to and I consider extremely valuable, effective, necessary, for long-lasting behavior change, you need something more holistic, and that might be policy updates, change networks, governance, incentives, and very importantly, consequences of non-compliance. And finally, share and amplify your success. While it is a natural tendency to look at why something didn't work, what if we shifted our mindset and looked at what's working and why, and then taking that exploration, taking those insights, applying it, and transferring it into other situations so that we could all benefit.